Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. We have a large crowd, so that's great. I will say, if you have any questions during the presentation, just type them in the chat there and we'll try to get to them. If I don't get to them or we don't see them, you'll have my contact information where you can call or email me. But I'm Kirk Sarff. I'm a director of Annuity and Life Sales here at New Horizons. I've been here over 18 years now, but I want to thank anybody that's on this webinar today that we've done business with. I just want to tell you thank you, and we appreciate all that you've done. I know some of the producers that are on this are multi-contracted, and for that we're grateful here at New Horizons. Today's presentation is going to be pretty basic, I feel like, because it is with the topic of how to get started with life insurance sales. At times, just full disclosure here, it's going to seem a little scattery because there's going to be some redundant and repetitive ideas on maybe different ways to start pursuing life insurance sales. But we have been very, very fortunate over the course of my time here of typically Medicare agents that have branched out and really started asking for life insurance sales or inquiring at least about it and doing a real good job with that. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to preface this and what to expect here today, and we'll go from there. Everything in this avenue wise, it stems off of a client need. So when we say client need assessment, that's a form that we do have here at New Horizons. And honestly, I've seen agents that when we've traveled around or they've brought them in, that they sculpture their own client needs assessment. But the sale of most of our products, and today we're talking about life insurance, really stems from assessing the need of that client. Jason, the next one there. This is just kind of what ours looks like, and it's a real generic, if you will, form, but it covers a wide range of products that we offer here at New Horizons. And what I've seen over the past 18 years of the people that use this religiously are the ones that really are successful in implementing cross-selling and life insurance for a great example of what we're talking about today. Next one there. You kind of pinpoint it down in the life insurance part of it when you really look at, and again, this is going to get kind of different angles, redundancy or what have you. But one of the key questions when you're going down that list of assessing needs of your client when it comes to the life insurance, it's very, very simple. You're just asking if they currently have life insurance is the bottom line. You can start spinning different things off of that as far as if they're still paying premium on this particular policy, what the death benefit is, what exactly is the premium. Getting a little bit more advanced, perhaps for the client's aspect of it, would be the cash value. There might be a cash value if it's not a term policy, but that is kind of the gist of it. The second part of that on the client needs assessment is really asking about final expenses, and that probably hits home a little bit more with our clients. We're mainly senior marketing, obviously, and senior oriented. So when you mention final expenses, that probably resonates a little bit more with some of your clients. And again, the bottom line is you're asking a question, and it's just a base question. Do they currently carry life insurance? And if I could put it, and it's not on the slide, but if I could put a part B onto that, and I know some of you have worked with me, what I always ask, what's the purpose of the insurance? Why are they wanting it? And that helps us a lot in determining what kind of product we're going to put them in. Term life solves one equation, whole life solves another. So there's just different avenues. So asking them if they carry life insurance, but then asking them the purpose of it is very helpful. Just some other additional things what is the death benefit? And I'm going to stop right there a minute, because when you ask what the death benefit is, now you're starting to figure out, is it enough? Is it too much? maybe that person had a huge term policy or maybe some other, and their kids are now out of college. They're not dependent on them if there was an event of premature death, or maybe there's not enough right now, but really drilling down on what is the death benefit. That's a big number, and you can start, asking a little bit more off of that alone as far as fact finding. The second one on this is the premium, because things change, and we see a lot of things come through here, policy wise, statement wise, about a premium that maybe is not quite enough to fund a policy now. So in a universal life situation, that premium might have been less than what it needed to be to fund the policy properly. But then also, what is the premium? That's going to start a conversation of, yeah, I'm paying $112 a month, but man, that's just really out of my budget because I'm retired now. And so you're going to find out, even though it's a basic question, you're going to start to sense a direction on maybe the product or the way that you need to move towards on a life insurance sale. And then the last one, this is mainly going to come if you can find that person's life insurance statement. First of all, you're getting them organized because they might not even know what they have life insurance wise. So if you can find a statement, their last statement, it's going to tell you a lot of things. It's going to tell you the death benefit. It's going to tell you the premium. And if there is a cash value, that means it's going to be a permanent plan. It could be a whole life, could be a universal life. For those of you new on the life insurance sale, term is not going to have a cash value. So it being absent of cash value, it may be telling you that they do indeed have a term policy. Here's just another sheet that we came up with many moons ago, but this has been helpful when I have an agent call in and say, boy, so-and-so has a lot of different life policies. I don't know what I'm looking at for sure. This is just a form that we use here internally, but you can use out there. When you come across somebody that has multiple life policies, it just kind of organizes you, and it will keep you from duplicating the information on a policy, because they may have 2 or 3 statements. And if you pay attention on the policy numbers, it's the same policy. They may think they have 3 or 4 different policies, but this little form right here will simply put everything that we just mentioned on one nice sheet, and then we can kind of tell. And it's really good for the cash value part of it. When we start to see if we can help a person out, when we do an apples to apples comparison, or maybe it's a situation where we're going to start to eliminate that person's premium. But this sheet is very, very simple, but it's very, very helpful to you and to us. When you start getting into life insurance and talking to your clients about life insurance, there's different things there's a reason for life insurance and why they have it. So these are 4 basic things. And Jason, the next slide there, I'm going to kind of, on this first segment, talk about income replacement. And then the next one there is outstanding debts. So when we talk to our clients and they're most interested in the event of death, that they need that income replaced because the breadwinner, if he dies or she dies, how are we going to make it? So really income replacement. And then if they have any debt, mortgages, business loans, still paying on cars, what have you. But these 2 areas are now going to point us towards probably term life. So those 2, income replacement and outstanding debts, are probably going to point us towards term life. And typically term life is going to come in on younger people. But with that said, it's not that uncommon today when we start fact finding on our older clients as well, that they may have these same needs that really does merit term life insurance. When you work with us, we have a lot of carriers, and we probably have our favorite carriers, and then there's niche markets for diabetes or cardio or tobacco, non-tobacco. When you work with us, first of all, we can help you with quoting. Myself, Rhonda, Kelly, any of us here, whether you've called us or have you emailed us, we can put together quoting. And this is an example of what you would get back on. And again, we're now talking about term life, the income replacement or the debt coverage of premature death. So this is what you'd be looking at. So this is just for example, a 35 male. If you looked at the top, that's what it is. It's a non-tobacco user. The preferred plus rating on the health classes you see on your screen, that's the best rate. So typically, obviously, a younger person, great chance that they're getting the best rate. There's 4 different non-tobacco rates. There's 2 tobacco rates, and then we can go with ratings from there. Without going into detail this slide, honestly, this is what you would see though from us if you requested a quote from us. And we're going to try to find the best carriers, but we're going to show you, and some of you that are on this call today, even, you want me to keep it down to 1 or 2 carriers of what we think and not really give you a cross section of a bunch of them. But we have them all basically now. And this would be something that you would see, pretty clean sheet that you could go with your clients. Shows you monthly premium, quarterly, semi-annual, annual premium. The death benefit there, as you can see on this, is 1 million. The term, if you go all the way to the left, it's a selected term 20. All those are 20-year terms. So it's twofold. It's organized. Number one, it does show your client that you're shopping for them and trying to find the best deal for them, which is what we're doing for you as well as you are our clients. Okay, the other 2 things that were kind of on the bottom of that 4-prong slide that we had, and this is really straightforward, but final expense, and this is really probably a bigger market for us than term based on our client base alone, because we're working with mainly 65 on up. So term doesn't come into play a lot. However, it does some, but final expense or even just whole life in general, that starts to come into play. And it's the average funeral cost, and you can Google all this stuff, but you're looking at anywhere from $7,500 to $9,000, depending on where you live. But that's generally speaking what you're talking about for a funeral or final expense, but that doesn't take into account any final expenses they may have, any debt that they may have. But I will tell you this, in just talking to a lot of different agents, the ones that really go after this market, funerals are very important to people, and they don't want to leave their family with any kind of burden. So that's where we've seen a dramatic increase in our final expense sales, because I think we have more Medicare agents simply asking for this, and we have a lot more clients. And you know what? And I'm told this, and I have no basis for this, but with the COVID, situation, life insurance sales went up. Our, underwriting probably got pickier on a lot of the underwritten, but this is final expense, and that's a little bit different. So the final expense sales, I know, really skyrocketed there and have since the pandemic. So you saw the term sheet. If you notice, we have several carriers, and believe me, this is not all of them, but if you're a contracted agent with us, you would have access to our website quoting system, our quote engine, and there's a lot of different products to quote on there, final expense being one of them. And this is just a snapshot, but you can type in the demographic as far as it's a 65 female, and you do have to enter the zip code. We're looking for a final expense of $10,000. And you're going to see a lot of different carriers come up on our quote engine. This is something that I can help you with a little bit as far as what you are looking for, because there's a carrier or 2 up there that does not use an e-app. So if you like e-apps, I can direct you away from a carrier or 2. If you're looking for, I do business in 15, 16 states, here's a pretty good carrier for that. If I do all phone sales, here's a carrier for that. So we can kind of pinpoint that a little bit. But again, you're going to see on our quote engine, what you're seeing up on your screen right now, a pretty good cross-reference of all of our carriers. Some of them might need explanation as you kind of drill down into that a little bit, but most of it will be pretty straightforward, and you'll get an idea. For those of you that aren't real familiar, and I'm going to stay on this slide a little bit with final expense, and I told you the sales really went up during COVID here. Typical final expense is the application. They are going to punch that person's name in to the MIB. It's really a filing cabinet of past medical information. They're going to do a script check. There are a couple of our carriers that may want to do the phone interview. Foresters, as you see on the screen right there, that is going to be a point of sale phone interview. So again, we can kind of point you to what you're comfortable with doing as to maybe the carrier or carriers that you would want to do business with. But the other thing that I think one of the reasons maybe and I know the client needs assessment is part of it, but one of the reasons our final expense sales have gone up is that when an agent saves their Medicare client, it might be $50 to $75 on a med sup, they're then asking them, and I don't want to say pivoting, but they're moving towards to maybe use that money to help with final expense because they did the client needs assessment and they do see a need that they are interested in that. So final expense sales come a lot of different directions, but we have seen a pretty big increase on those over the past couple of years. Okay, this slide here, if you see the heading of it, it's guarantee issue. And we're going to have some clients that don't even qualify because of MIB, because of the script check, because of the health questions, that they're not going to qualify. So we do have some carriers, 3 or 4 carriers right now, that there's absolutely no health questions. They are going to get this life insurance. There's a carrier that we're going to be talking a lot about. I'm going to tease you with it a little bit, but the name of a carrier that we're going to have, it looks like February 1st, that is going to have instant decision on their level final expense. It will be instant decision whether they point you to a graded plan or move it into a guaranteed issue, which is what we're on right now. This is going to be a big name. It's going to be an e-app only. We're pretty excited about it. It's going to be extremely high comp, all the above kind of thing. So we're hoping that we can have an announcement on that here next week, if all goes well. But on this guarantee issue, you would be surprised of how many people are just thankful that you can help them with. They know they are not in the best of health, but that you actually have a product that you can help solve a problem for them, that being their final expense. The one thing I'll mention for those of you that haven't sold guaranteed issue is when you sell a guaranteed issue product, if they die in the first 2 years, just full disclosure here, number one, it's a chargeback for you and for us. So all the money, the commission money does go back to the company. For the client, if that death occurs by natural causes in the first 2 years, the beneficiaries are going to get full return of premium plus 10% interest. And that's going to be pretty much the case on everything you see on the screen with those carriers right now. So they're never going to be out money. They're going to get their money back, or their beneficiaries are. So it's not a situation where they can lose. And quite frankly, the premiums are not that dramatic. You get up in the higher ages, yeah, there's going to be some bigger differential between a level plan and then a guarantee issue, but they're pretty respectable premiums. What you're looking at on the screen right now, and it doesn't really say it, but I can tell you by knowing the figures, that's a $10,000 policy on a 65 female. So you can see kind of how they come in with guarantee issues. So it is a way to solve a problem. So just letting you know that we do have carriers for that. Pretty excited about a final expense carrier that's going to have level, graded, and guarantee issue all in one, and an instant decision. So we're going to keep you posted on that one as well. Okay, single premium life. Yes, exactly. So sometimes you're going to come across a person and say, well, yeah, I have final expenses, but I've got $10,000 set aside in my savings account, and that's going to cover that. Or you may, from your fact finding and kind of some of our slides previous, you may discover some existing cash in an existing policy that that maybe they're paying premium on right now, and they really don't care to be paying that premium. So you might move it into a single premium situation where you would eliminate their premium, give them something that's, you know, good for the rest of their life. And a lot of people are attracted to that. On the bank money, you can usually show them, if I've got $10,000 set aside, and I think we'll go to that next slide, Jason. This would be an example that, yeah, I've got 10,000 sitting in the bank, and that's all I need for the funeral. Well, you could say, well, we could take that $10,000, and this is a 65 female, pretty common. And right out of the gate, and again, this is a simplified issue product. This is, on this case you're looking at, this is not an exam. This is going to be the application. It's going to be the MIB. It's going to be the script check. And at that point, if we get this lady approved, we took her 10,000 in the bank, and we already immediately moved it to 20,197. This happens to be, as you can read on the screen, KSKJ. Okay, and Jason's done a good job here with my arrow. But on that highlighted slide, you can see the death benefit, and it's on the non-guaranteed value side. This happens to be a participating life contract, which means inside this policy, the dividends are going to keep buying life insurance as we go. And I will tell you, with this little carrier, that non-guaranteed side is always done exactly as it's illustrated. So, you know, we do ULs, as some of you on this call have, that has a guaranteed side and non-guaranteed side. You know, those are a little bit more volatile. I can tell you this little company here, we've been with them a long time. The non-guaranteed side is always, that's how it's always paid out. So this lady on this screen right here, after 10 years, you can see her death benefit is modest, but it has went up to now 21,000 and change. And you can also see her cash on the in the middle column there, total cash value. The break-even point was about year 7, but as we move down to year 10, you know, we're starting to increase it a little bit as we go, in case she had a change of mind for whatever reason. We'll go back to that one. On the guaranteed side, you can see, even if that happened, the guarantee is still, that death benefit is going to stay the same. It's still the little over 20,000. So the rationale on that is that she's got the bank money, or maybe we're using money from a different policy in a 1035 exchange. But when you can basically double, and you can't do that in every situation, it depends on gender and age. But in this situation, when you can double that, that's a pretty attractive thing. And guys, most people don't even know that that is available to them. We have a lot of different products at New Horizons that really, it takes an agent to educate their client on that. And with that said, I'm going to go to the last slide, which is the thank you. I'm going to just leave you with a few different thoughts. The key to life insurance sales, as it goes back to the first screen, honestly, is consistency. Is just you taking the time to maybe inquire with an existing client. And I mean that, an existing client, whether it's through the client needs assessment or just simply asking them about their life insurance. Okay, I turned 60, so I got 3 grown daughters now, but I had a bunch of term life. Okay, so my needs have changed now, because premature death, we don't want that, but now I'm kind of by that where the girls are on their own, right? So you just even getting in front of your client and talking to them about life insurance, you're doing them a great favor. And even reviewing old policies that they may or may not have, you're organizing them for their family members. And a quick story, we have just a tremendous, and some of you have heard this before, I'm sure, we have a tremendous agent and been in the business forever. And he's a med sup guy. And I mean, he sells tons and tons and tons of Medicare supplements. And this story right here changed his practice. Is a daughter came in from one of his clients, and he had her med sup, she died. And the daughter is asking now after they cleaned up all the Medicare supplement. The daughter asked now about the life insurance. And the agent had not even talked to the mom, this lady's mom, about life insurance. And it wasn't a terrible scene, but it was simply the daughter being disappointed in the agent of, how could you have had my mom's insurance all these years and you didn't help her with life insurance? And it was eye-opening. So I'm just saying that I know sometimes that we get in a hurry and we're going from client to client, or we don't have time. The commissions are really good, depending on the product, it can be really, really good. But commissions are fantastic, but more than that, of helping your client and their family in a situation when they really need you the most, quite frankly. So anyway, take the time out and maybe go over the client needs assessment again, or contact us and we can get those for you. Do we have anything that we want to address now here, Jason, or are we good?
Just had some questions about the forms we showed earlier, and we'll make sure to send copies of those out to you guys. So there's the client needs assessment and that policy form where you can list out the various policies. We'll get those sent out in an email.
I'm going to quickly interrupt, and Jason and Rebecca and Misty, our marketing team, they are so organized. They make us look good. Some of the emails you receive from me is because of Rebecca, Jason, and Misty, that we stay organized. And these materials, they can provide a lot of different things. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you help as many people as you can. Corny as it may sound, it's the fact. Anything else on there, Jason?
That's it.
Okay. People, thank you so much. And again, existing agents that have written business through us, thank you so much for doing that. New agents, if you're not contracted with us, please reach out. Myself, you want to reach out with an email, a phone call, let us know how we can help you help as many people as you can. All right. Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.